It is time to get uplifted. Thank you for joining me. I'm Allison Seymour. It's summertime, and we know many of you will use this time to maybe pick up a hobby, right? Maybe it's new for a lot of you. Some of you may even be considering a hobby in the fiber arts community, and this can include crocheting, knitting, or spinning yarn. So in this episode, we are taking you all around the globe to show you how fiber artists are using their skills as a form of activism to promote social or political change. And maybe it will be inspiring to you to leave your mark on your community. But we're starting off with the fundamentals, unraveling the crocheting basics and teaching you how to make a kitchen coaster. Take a look at your screen right now. This is not your average crochet project though. London K created this fun, whimsical yarn design and then hung it up on a fence in Los Angeles. This graffiti style of street art is known as yarn bombing in the fiber arts community. The purpose, it can vary for knitters and crocheters, and it can include adding color and warmth to urban environments, reclaiming public spaces, sparking conversations, or making a statement about creativity, community, or social issues. London has created dozens of crocheted art for different cities all across the United States, as well as for various businesses and brands like Starbucks, Miller Lite, and Pop-Tarts. Elise Martinez went along as London yard bombed a park in Silver Lake, California.
I always just tell myself, doesn't have to be perfect.
With her crochet hook in hand, London K is stitching together the last bits of her latest creation.
You're putting things outside, you're leaving it there for people to enjoy. You don't know how long it's going to stay up, so you want to make it big and impactful, but then also don't take forever on a certain piece.
Once it's done, she packs it up.
This thing about crochet, it's very light and it folds well.
And then heads outside to find somewhere to hang it.
Lots of good places for yarn bombing.
Kay started this unique form of street art back in New York.
What yarn bombing is when you take a piece of knit or crochet fabric and wrap it around something in a public space.
Thinking her yarn bombs would be taken down quickly.
It kept staying up, and after a week, a lady stopped me and she said, me and my granddaughter stop at your tree every day and it makes our morning. And I just instantly knew I had to do more.
Her work grew into stitching massive installations for major corporations, from a crocheted Miller Lite billboard to a school bus for the Hallmark Channel. But she still loves to add a touch of color and beauty to local neighborhoods and always gets a reaction.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. That's why I love yarn bombing. The amount of people that get to see your work when you do put it outside in your community is so much more than if you keep it at home stuffed under your bed.
Kay says crocheting started trending again during the pandemic and continues to grow in popularity. And she wants to make sure that it gets passed on to the next generation.
It's just always in high fashion now, and you're seeing just the coolest bags and tops and things that are being made and done, and we're just going to keep on pushing the craft.
Today, she's putting up this piece of a mom teaching her son to knit. It's also the cover of her second book, Crochet Baby. Kay's hope is that people see her art and get inspired. She says once you start crocheting, you might get hooked.
And we're good.
In Silver Lake, Elise Martinez, KCAL News.
Now, before we brag about another crochet artist and their incredible work, we want to highlight an installation that London spearheaded, and some of you may have even seen it in person. It was hung up here in our area at the Wharf back in 2021 around International Women's Day. And check it out. You can see the portrait created in vibrant colored yarns showing former Vice President Kamala Harris's face and a statement that reads, I'm speaking. This was created by the group Love Across the U.S. And like I said, London was in charge of this project. Check it out. Alrighty, well, over 150 crocheters from all over the U.S. helped to make that vision a reality. Each crocheter created one 24-inch by 24-inch square, and then they stitch all those pieces together to create one piece that's sized out to 20 feet by 40 feet. Talk about a community project. And this was just one of the many installations created by Love Across the U.S. And some of the other murals celebrating historic women include Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, African-American abolitionist Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, environmental activist Minerva Hamilton Hoyt, singer and civil rights activist Nina Simone, and women's rights activist Susan B. Anthony. So many incredible women who were truly a force to be reckoned with. And did you know former Vice President Harris is part of the fiber arts community herself? She crochets. Harris shared this fun fact while visiting Fiber Space. That's a yarn shop in Old Town Alexandria while she was working for the Biden administration back in 2021. She says that her mother wouldn't just let her sit in front of the TV doing nothing, so she picked up the hobby as a kid. And she says that she has crocheted many Afghans. Now, this is essentially a blanket that's often made with colorful patterns and decorative stitches. Now, we tried to find videos, any pictures of her work, but no luck. These are photos that the popular yarn brand Lion Brand posted on their website. While visiting Fiber Arts, the former vice president was introduced to the owner of another yarn shop in Baltimore called Neighborhood Fiber. The owner of that shop is Karita Collins, and she says she created a special hand-dyed yarn and named it after Harris. Take a look at your screen. This is a picture of someone knitting a sweater using that yarn. Collins says she created that yarn to mark the Biden-Harris win, and she says she wanted to commemorate the significance of Harris's background as Black, Asian, and the child of immigrants. And before leaving Fiber Space, the original shop, Harris bought a skein of that yarn, most likely kept that for herself, or she gave it to her stepdaughter, Ella Emhoff, because Ella designs knitwear herself. In fact, let's show off some of Ella's creations. Now, we know hundreds of thousands of knitters have seen her work because she has over 502,000 followers on Instagram. Her designs are simply fabulous. They're intricate as well as thought-provoking. Check this out. Now, some are silly. That was Donald Duck, I think. But that, though, is a portrait of herself. It's a self-portrait. That's pretty incredible. So those were some of her original designs. Here are some more. You can see that she's created everything from clothing to bike seat covers, but most of her work resembles knitted paintings. Simply gorgeous. By the way, Ella studied fashion at Parsons School of Design in New York. All right, guys, be prepared for your jaws to drop. I'm talking down to the floor. We want to highlight a local crocheter whose designs are yarn-tastic. I had to do it at least one time. This is Simbiat Odeshina's work. She is also from the district, and you can see that she has made some very cute designs, including sweaters, bags, hats, and earmuffs. That's it. I think I'm all out of puns, Simbiat, so you're in luck right now because she's in studio. She joins us to talk about her journey with the fiber arts because you crochet and you knit, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the impact that it's making. Let's just start off. I just want to welcome you to the studios. Your work is beautiful.
Thank you.
How did you get started in the fiber arts?
So my mom bought yarn and had it in the house and was thinking about getting into it. But one day during the pandemic, I saw a tutorial for like a crochet frog hat. And I thought, maybe I can make that.
Right.
And I started getting into it more through watching YouTube tutorials and watching TikToks. It took a while for me to get really good at it. At first, I've had quite a few that weren't that great.
Yeah.
But I think now I've gotten a lot better.
You know, it's so funny. Perhaps I haven't really sat with it long enough because, I mean, this is like sell it on Etsy for name your price. So, I feel like I can't even do like a straight line correctly. What was the secret? What clicked in your brain for those of us who are not on this journey yet? What clicked and you were able to just start going from just trying to get it figured out to this? Like, what was that switch for you, do you think?
Practice, just practicing over and over.
Okay.
And not being afraid to redo things if they look bad. Or even sometimes if you can get away with it, continuing on and
Yeah.
just kind of hiding the mistake.
Right. So is it just a hobby for you right now?
Yeah.
Okay, but you've done some incredible work and impactful work. I'm thinking about the Black Butterfly Project through your schools. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I submitted the butterfly and a black-eyed Susan crochet project for an art exhibit at my school, UMBC, and it was an art exhibit that I was able to submit to, and I didn't go to it, but
pick it up?
yes, yeah, you can pick it up. Yeah, I did receive a thank you letter, and they said the art exhibit was a success, and they said thank you.
That's really beautiful.
Thank
and
you.
But the meaning behind it is really impactful. It's got a bigger message, right? What was the whole project about?
It's about discussing the oppression and segregation in Baltimore neighborhoods, and I chose the black-eyed Susan as the flower because it's the Maryland state flower, and also it's a flower of resilience.
Right. We were saying earlier that a lot of these different art types, what we might say is, hobbies or crafts, I mean, are really impactful as far as being in that social activism space. And I think that's just a real clear example with this artwork here. So what do you plan to do with all of this? What do you plan to do with this talent?
I would like to start donating hats and scarves to shelters and other organizations.
Yeah.
I haven't started it yet, but I think soon I plan to, especially during the winter time coming up.
We see a lot. I see a lot of that with perhaps people who are in the hospital.
Yeah.
It gives a lot of people joy. Can we just show some of your pieces?
Yes.
Would you mind just holding this one up here? My hands are full, but I just have to see. That is just. How long did something like that take you?
It took surprisingly 2 months. It wasn't too bad.
Okay,
but
so you're a genius.
well,
Okay.
not exactly. But
Okay, that is so cute. And then this little hat, and these are everywhere. I see these everywhere. Something, isn't that so precious? How long would something like this take?
it took me about 2 weeks.
Okay, I love it. And then lastly, this really cute cardigan here with all, so it's designs on top of designs,
Yeah.
right? And all of that. This is level what? How many years have you been doing this to make something this gorgeous?
It's about since the pandemic, so it's been almost 5 years.
Yeah. Before we let you go, what would you say if somebody's watching and they're saying, the fiber arts, but also just any hobby, how impactful has it been in your life?
It's been very impactful. It's a way to have time for myself to relax and even give gifts to other people, like my friends and family. They really enjoy the gifts I give to them.
Yeah.
And just to build community.
Okay. Is there any, can we buy anything? Is there any way we can see you online? Any information before we let you go?
No, I do
Okay.
plan to start showing stuff online and even
Okay.
maybe selling, but
Yeah.
it's not yet.
You really should share your gift with everyone, Symbiote. But in the meantime, thanks for coming and talking with us today. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. All righty. Let's turn now to Malaga, Spain, and that's where you're going to find this massive crocheted canopy. Check this out. We still don't know if it's still up today on display because it was created more than 4 years ago, and yarn does degrade over time. A teacher and more than a dozen of her students created this back in 2021 to help those living in the city beat the heat while shopping. And the patchwork yarn tarp features geometric patterns and organic shapes. And a similar canopy was created in the nearby town of La Línea de la Concepción. And you can see those colorful granny square blankets provided another layer of protection against the sun. So as you can imagine, learning to crochet, it can be really difficult, and it's even more challenging when you can't see your work. But Sylvia Mooney says that she isn't letting her eyesight prevent her from helping the homeless. She's crocheting them mats out of plastic bags. Take a listen.
Single crochet stitch.
There's not a ball of yarn in sight in Sylvia Mooney's living room.
I don't measure, I just kind of eyeball it.
It becomes easier to eyeball when, hold on, wait, seriously, that's not yarn.
It's like you get at the grocery store or other places.
Are those plastic bags?
I wish I had more colors, but
The colors she does have been used to make more than 100 of these mats made entirely, yes, out of plastic bags.
I want to help others as much as I can. He laughed and he said, "I'm not a hugger, but I want to hug you." And I said, "Well, I am a hugger, and I'll be glad to hug you."
Sylvia lives at Brookdale Senior Living in Franklin. She has made more than 100 of these mats for those dealing with the challenges that come with homelessness.
This is a completed mat. The instructions indicate that they should be 6 feet long and 3 feet wide.
Something remarkable, especially when you consider Sylvia's own challenge.
I'm legally blind. I can do a great deal of it by feel, although I have enough vision to be able to see most of the things I need to see with it. It's a loss of central vision.
Sylvia has macular degeneration.
Mine came on in my mid-30s. I'm grateful for the vision I have left, and I can still get around okay. A great many people, I think, look at the elderly as those who need help.
Despite having challenges of her own, folks like Sylvia prove everyone can lend a hand in their own way.
We do still have something to offer, and I'm pleased about that this is something I can give to someone in need.
And check this out. You may remember seeing this viral video. It has over 9.3 million likes and 42,000 comments.
My mom made their design.
You just heard from Mrs. White. She's a second grade teacher, and during the winter of 2023, she asked her students to draw a hat design on a piece of paper. She told them it was for a bulletin board display. But a few weeks later, around Christmas time, the teacher surprised her kids with knitted hats that looked exactly like their drawings. And those hats were knitted by Mrs. White's mom. That viral video inspired another teacher to do the same for her students. Kindergarten teacher Jody Abraham didn't tell her students their drawings were essentially knitted patterns. So the students scribbled and they scribbled, and 6 weeks later, their vision had come to life. Hugs for their heads. Boyd Herbert takes us to Albany, Minnesota to show us how these students felt after being surprised.
The top of the morning arrives at Albany
Good morning.
Elementary.
Good to see you.
But it's the top of the arriving kindergartners
They're coming.
that brought us here.
Morning, Harrison. Morning, Lila.
Brought us to Ms. Abraham's classroom
Days of the week.
with questions. Where'd you get that cool hat?
Abraham.
And not just for Emery,
From Miss Abraham.
Lila, and Haley,
From Miss Abraham.
but their whole
Miss Abraham.
class. Did she buy all these hats?
She made them by hand.
Wait, what? All of them?
18 of them.
It's true.
Easton's pattern.
Before Christmas break, Ms. Abraham, inspired by a TikTok video, asked each of her students to draw a hat in whatever colors they'd like.
At the time, they didn't know it was a pattern. They were just drawing a hat.
Then Jody Abraham started knitting
Just me.
and didn't stop for 6 weeks.
I maybe didn't do my dishes or my laundry. I'm just kidding.
She laughs, but her principal snapped this pic of Miss Abraham knitting with her son on the court playing varsity basketball.
When I gave them to the kids, they were just, their eyes sparkled and they were so excited.
Still are.
The blueprint.
That's Harrison Lomheim.
He absolutely adores it, and it will be something he'll treasure forever.
Gina is his mom.
He tells everybody about it, that his teacher made this hat for him.
There's a husky dog on it for our school.
Ribbits.
Ms. Abraham likes to think of the hats as head hugs.
And then we're gonna sing. It says, I care about you. It, says, hey, my teacher thinks I'm pretty great. She took what I drew and brought it to life.
But then their teacher is just drawing from her own life experience.
This is my hat that my grandma had made for me when I was little. She's the one who taught me to knit. I think that I also remember how special it was to wear this hat.
So today, Ms. Abraham is knitting again.
I'm doing this one for Maddie, my helper.
After just finishing a hat
Miss Deb drew one too.
for her para.
Here's Miss Deb's set.
Thank you. My two favorite colors, pink and blue.
We came to Miss Abraham's class with questions.
Why do you think she did that?
It was getting colder. When your other hats are broken.
And left with the perfect answer.
Maybe because she loves us.
A gift that tops them all. Boy Duper, KARE 11 News, Albany.
So of course we know some fiber artists like to practice their crafts alone, but like we've been showing you, many crocheters and knitters like to work on group projects, and some like working on solo projects while surrounded by others who are also actively working on their own creations. So we want to highlight two local resources that are helping fiber artists connect with other fiber artists, and this could help kickstart a community group project or just give you the ability to meet people with similar interests as yourself. Now, the first resource is a craft circle. Solid State Books in Northeast DC hosts this meetup on the second Tuesdays of every month at 7:30 p.m. So any type of crafter is welcome, and we're told participants can bring their own projects, they can meet others, and just hang out. And the other resource is specifically tailored for fiber artists. Solid State Books hosts a crochet book club, and joining us now to talk more about the impact of Knits in Yarns is the club's founder. This is Cromiclia Bryant with us in studio. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Tell me all about why you started this specifically, and who is that target audience that you look for?
I started it because I wanted to be held accountable. Knitting alone at home is challenging sometimes because you can easily be like, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have time to do this. But if you know that you're going to be somewhere, you want to work on your project so next time they come, you're further along. So it's kind of like accountability. But also community, because being around people who have skills that you don't have or have knitted or crocheted much longer than you can ask them for advice and get that support.
Take us into what a typical meetup is like.
Well, when we first started out, we only had 8 people, and they were all older ladies. And then after the pandemic, when we got back together again, we had grown past 20, and the age was much younger. And so it's a pretty boisterous group. They're drinking wine or coffee beverages, and it's very loud.
I love that. Tell me so there's a book component to this too, right?
It's supposed to be like we talk about the books that we're reading, but honestly these days we're talking about what's going on and how our lives are.
That's so interesting. So again, community, it almost becomes just like a friendship circle. Am I going too far by saying that?
No, because I think that a lot of people do meet outside of the group. And we even once before went to the Maryland Sheep Show as a group. So.
Okay. I love that. Tell me, I guess, about what impact you think it does have on people when they come through.
I think that it makes them, for some people, it's less lonely. A lot of people do bring their friends, and so they continue to grow their friend group. But the people that are kind of a little bit loners, it's more of a community and more support.
So if you're watching and you're interested, even at whatever level, how do you come and get involved?
Actually, so at our H Street Northeast location, we meet on Thursday nights from 6 to 8.
Oh, okay.
And then at our other new location on 14th Street, they meet on Tuesdays.
Okay. And is there a website, an email, or just show up?
Just show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Alrighty, what are y'all working on right now? Is there one thing specifically?
I'm working on a shawl from the Outlander show.
Okay. I think that you are so interesting. I think that having lunch with you would be a ball. Okay, this is Cromiclia Bryant, and this is Knits in Yarns.
Yes.
Is the group.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Solid State Books is just one of many businesses in our area that will basically inspire others to journey down the yarn path and connect with other fellow fiber artists. About 10 minutes ago, we told you about the yarn shop in Old Town Alexandria that former Vice President Harris visited back in 2021. As a reminder, it's called Fiber Space, and many fiber artists say that shop has turned into a second home for them because of what the shop offers beyond the wool and the cotton. So joining me now to talk about her shop and how it's fostered community is Fiber Space's owner, Danielle Romanetti. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We were just talking all about your shop earlier in our Get Uplifted show, so you know, we appreciate your time. Tell us about this space. It must be very special to have had such a special visit those years ago.
Yeah, so I opened in 2009 and we built a community space. We're now in a location that I own. It's a flat iron building in historic Old Town Alexandria.
Yes.
And we've got a second floor that's meeting space, classroom space, gathering space, and it's become a special spot for a lot of people.
Now, I can't help but notice that you're actually working. Well, what are you working on right now?
I'm making a little tank for spring, summer. So,
oh, that is so cute.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess you're not just a shop, and you kind of alluded to that too, but just talk about what Fiber Space means to that community and the whole area, really.
Yeah, so we do obviously sell yarn, and that's the core of our financial operations, but I really opened to become a community space. I had been teaching classes for a while, and my folks just wanted a place to gather and be. I had a class business before I opened the store. And so I opened the store to kind of provide that space for the community, a place where they could find reliable supplies that were always in stock, needles, yarns, notions, and also a place to gather and come together and just connect with each other. And that's become so much more important now than when I opened in 2009.
So, you know, we're talking a lot about the you know, the fiber arts, if you will. Have we seen a resurgence in this, or was it always going on?
Yeah, when I opened in 2009, we were experiencing the last financial crisis, and that was a resurgence. It has picked up again since COVID. So during the pandemic, a lot of folks were obviously inside and were finding ways to stress relief. We were all making sourdough bread, but a lot of folks also picked up knit and crochet.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so it's become a lot more of a stress reliever. It's yoga for folks. It's meditation. It's mindfulness. When you're doing something repetitive with your hands, it is really easy to calm your mind. We know that it has benefits for your heart rate, for anxiety, depression. So it has a lot of physical and mental benefits. So that's obviously become very important right now. We are definitely seeing a lot of very stressed out folks, people whose jobs are uncertain, very worried about the economy or their own personal safety. So knitting and crochet has become a way for them to find comfort and soothing and also still feel productive, which is so ingrained in how we exist. We just have to feel productive all the time.
You also have classes, correct?
Yes.
Okay, how can people get involved? How can they come over and figure out what schedule it is and how they fit in?
So we have a great website that has a wonderful calendar. We have so many classes, so we've had to put it all online so that you can search. Our introduction classes for knit, crochet, and spinning are very small. We start with only 6 students, and we do that so that you really get a great foundation. And then we have a whole range of classes after that, so you can go from knitting a scarf to a hat, or learning how to cable, or making lace. So it's really easy to kind of scale up. We've had students come in an intro class in January, and by May they're making their own sweaters.
Do you promise?
I promise.
Okay, because it feels so
I promise.
unattainable for someone like me.
The more stressed out, anxious, and less creative you are, the more likely you are to pick up knitting, because there's a pattern and it tells you exactly what to do. And it's very easy to just tune out when you've got this thing and it tells you what to do and you're just doing it. You're watching some Netflix.
Yeah, and then you see the product.
And you see your progress.
All right, I love that. All right, Danielle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody go and visit Danielle at Fiber Space.
Yes.
Okay, in Old Town Alexandria. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it is almost time to bust out my yarn and crochet hook. I'm trying. Coming up, a crochet local influencer with over 75,000 followers on TikTok, who is very near and dear to me and the entire crew here at WUSA 9+, will join in studio to teach you and me how to crochet a kitchen coaster. Wish me luck. Welcome back. Well, hopefully by now we've inspired you to at least try crocheting or knitting. So to help break down the basic crochet stitches and teach us all how to make a kitchen coaster, we're bringing in our very own producer, Brianna Rao. We call her Bree around here, and Bree posts crochet photos on TikTok. Her account name is hey.yana. So cute. And she has over 75,000 followers. She posts crochet inspo, tutorials, explanations, so that other people can recreate images without having to buy or find a pattern. And that is so nice, but that's the kind of person you are, Bree.
Thanks,
Always
Al.
giving. Okay. So Bree actually produces the Get Uplifted stream, so plus some news content. So thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you, for as long as I've known you, you've talked about the benefits of this kind of artwork. And now, do you crochet or you knit?
I
You're a
crochet.
crochet girly.
Yes.
Okay, so for you in your life, why? What's it been like?
I think when I first tried to crochet, it was very much like a stressful habit, like something that just didn't seem to stick with me because my mom was constantly like,
Right.
"You're doing it wrong. This is exact."
Okay.
Like, and it just took the time of like realizing that if I was crocheting for me and getting to use my creativity, that it became something that was then a stress relief.
Right. Now, and why did you decide to take it to the masses on social media?
I honestly just got bored.
Okay.
I was finding a lot of my free time being occupied with Duolingo, and I was
Okay.
starting to get tired of Duolingo. And I just have always liked talking out loud.
Yeah.
I'm a yapper little girl, and I was having fun crocheting and then just showing off my projects. I never really like thought I was going anywhere
Yeah.
until it did.
And then it exploded. Okay. You brought some of your things. What is the level of difficulty here? And just be honest, like this is advanced. Both Bree and I went to the University of South Carolina, and so please show that. Like, not only are you crocheting, but now you're also adding words into it. This is an impossible level of artwork, but you
Well,
make it look so easy.
This one was because, as Al mentioned, University of South Carolina
Yeah.
Gamecocks. So I made like a game day set while in my senior year of college, just because I wanted to have fun with it. Like the whole point of crocheting to me is expressing your individuality and getting to have fun showing off another layer of you.
Okay.
And so all my projects try to incorporate something that's brand new, something about me. Also, I suck at reading patterns and I
Yeah.
don't like doing that.
Okay.
So
Don't tell me you freehand these
oh
things.
yeah, everything I do is
I
free-handed.
know you're joking. Please hold up the little halter. That is
Yeah.
so cute. How in the world? I urge you, go visit Bree's TikTok, because maybe you'll learn how to do it too with the inspiration. Okay, so now you're trying to show, are you yet again trying to show me how to do something?
But of
You've been
course,
trying
you know,
this.
I'm gonna just try to get you at that level. Okay.
Well, okay. Why can't you just show us instead about the simple thing? This is a stitch. This is
Yes.
this is the basics, the basis of all of the crochet work.
In order to get started, all you need your hook and your yarn, and then the first thing you're gonna do is simply wrap your yarn around, and you're pulling through the hook.
Okay.
And the more you do it, the more that this is gonna become a unified, like, stitch. It's not gonna be one size, then another size. And then from there, in order to make your kitchen coaster, all you do is chain maybe 10, 15, that's this process of braiding.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna put your hook into a stitch. You're going to yarn over, pull through the middle stitch. You'll have 2 stitches then on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through the next 2. And you'll keep going down that line. And as you do, you'll start to then form a square or a rectangle, and then you can add fun little pretty designs into it.
Okay. Because for me, it would just be like one, it would be, first of all, it would not be uniform, but it would also be like this much for the kitchen coaster with no design inside.
But that's why it just takes practice, takes dedication. Also, it's summer. There's lots of movies and shows to binge watch, so dedication can come easily.
This is Bree Rao, and her TikTok, I'm going to give it again, okay? Because it's spelled differently. It's HAI.Yana, like yawn, right?
Well, actually, it's my nickname, but yes, practically.
Exactly. Bree, thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do and sharing your passion with us. Your things are great. And by the way, when Bree, was it Christmas time, Bree knitted or crocheted all of the little coasters for people on staff here. And so thank you for mine when you did that last time. I appreciated that. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. This is the brains behind the operation right here. And we hope that these stories inspired you to make a difference in your own way. And I want to continue to share stories that uplift you. Just email us at getuplifted@WUSA9.com. You can reach out to me on X, Facebook, Instagram, or our Get Up DC social pages. Hey, Bree, are you open to if somebody said, do a segment or do a show on this and that? Right. I'm hoping we do a pet.
ideas.
I want a pet segment.
You got it.
Okay,
Coming
thank
up.
you very much. Join the conversation conversation by using the hashtag GetUpDC. And get your daily dose of Get Uplifted every morning at 5 on GetUpDC. And you can also find these stories on our website and our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Can we say it together? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Stay uplifted.